All right, I'm going to explain this really quick because several of you have been skipping it or not doing it. And it's this number 3 where it says, as you revise, you will need in your story 7 of the following terms. Identify them when you use them in the story. This is worth 35 points. 35 points. Identify them in your story. And some of you aren't doing that. So I want to go over it real quick so you know how to do that and so that you can turn it in and get the 35 out of 100 points is quite a bit. It would drop your score if you just don't do it, even if you have a perfect story. You need to have time period information in your story. That's number 4. And then once you revise it and you identify it, you turn it in, I mark it up, I give it back, then you fix it again, and then you turn it in. So you're revising it, giving it to me, getting feedback, and then getting it back. But you've got to have these terms identified. Now, the way to do it is pretty easy way to do it is to go up here and you look at one of your terms. So I'm going to go ahead and look at protagonist. Okay, so I just select protagonist. Then I'm going to go up to the top up here and find the text highlighter, and I'm going to choose one of these colors. Now you don't want to use one that's really dark because I still need to be able to read your paper. So if I select the yellow one, I just highlighted protagonist. Then down in my story, to show that I know what a protagonist is, I'm going to highlight the protagonist in my story. Then I'm going to go up, find that highlight color button, and highlight it. Now I've identified who the protagonist is in my story. Now, I don't need to go through the entire story and find wherever beta is and highlighter because I just showed I know how to do I know who the protagonist, it's beta. I identified that. I only need to do it once. So, for example, we could find another one. I use dialogue in here. So I'm going to select dialogue. I'm going to pick a color for dialogue. So let's choose green. And then I'm going to come down and go, okay, where's my dialogue? All I have to do is do one. I may have had more dialogue in here, but I'm going to go ahead and select and get my Chromebook here to cooperate. I'm going to select the dialogue, and then I used green, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight and use green. And I could use dialogue more than just once in my story. I only need to show it once. And so I just used dialogue, and I would just go through and find other things. Metaphor, simile. Right at the start, I have Betta was frightened as a kid on Halloween. So that's a simile. So I'm going to highlight it, go up here to the top, select it, pick a different color, then come down and highlight it down here, frightened as a kid on Halloween, and then use that same color, that light blue. And I need to choose 7 of those different ones on here and highlight them in my story. That is how I show that I know what these things are. I just in my first paragraph was able to highlight 3 out of the 7, and I could find my climax to the story, and I could pick a different color. So you're going to have 7 different colors. Make sure your story's still readable because I need to be able to read what you have down on there, and then you just submit that. So that's how you do it. Again, that's worth 35 points. So you don't want to just not do it because the best you could get is a D on the paper because you're not showing you use these terms in your story. All right. So I hope that helps. I want to encourage you to get it done and get it turned in, and good luck.